My next guest is Byron Gaylord, and he is the channel manager for GAN Conferencing. Welcome, Byron.
Thank you very much.
So tell me a little bit about GAN Conferencing.
GAN Conferencing is a unified communications provider.
Okay.
We assist with your audio conferencing needs, whether that be assisted or unassisted, as well as your telephone needs, whether they be hosted VoIP or on-premise, like your PBX systems. We also manage things like your network administration, network security, and then through some of the channel contacts I have, we can also do like on-premise security, access control points, things like that.
Fascinating. So tell me a little bit about audio conferencing and from an expense cost perspective.
Audio conferencing is a great way to host efficient meetings, if you will. If you think of the traditional road warrior, you're typically reimbursing that person on average 57.5 cents a mile. So if you figure the person's driving, speed limit of roughly 60 miles an hour, they have an average commute of 30 minutes to their meeting, 30 minutes back, you're paying 57.5 cents a minute for that person to attend that meeting, where an average audio conferencing rate could be anywhere between 5 cents or lower. So you're saving a considerable amount of money for your road warriors.
And are they as effective, do you think?
I believe so. With the newer forms of conferencing that's available, you can do things like hybrid meetings, which allow you to integrate with some of your web and video conferencing. So it allows you to have a face-to-face meeting with somebody without actually being on premise at their location.
Cool. Tell me a little bit about assisted audio.
Assisted audio is whenever you utilize live local operators to help bring in your calls. These would be for more high-profile calls. A lot of financial institutions, medical facilities will take advantage of these calls simply because they have more delicate reporting needs. And so having a live operator there to be able to help take whatever information you request or to be able to help manage that call, question, answer scenarios, it's a great opportunity to have somebody help manage your meetings.
Fascinating. Tell me about unassisted audio, which I'm thinking is just the opposite of what you shared with me. But
yeah, you're correct in that sense. In unassisted, you are provided with your conferencing lines, and you are given the tools to manage your calls on your own. And so this allows you to host meetings whenever, wherever you wish to, without actually having to reserve a time, if you will, to have live operators available. Those tend to be a little bit more cost efficient because you're not hiring additional people to help manage those calls. So again, maybe a call that's not such a high priority that doesn't have high-level reporting needs is when you'd use unassisted.
Interesting. So tell me how to host a successful web meeting.
I am a big proponent of not using screen share. I feel if you attend a meeting where somebody's utilizing a tool that is using screen share, anytime somebody sends you maybe a Skype notification, a calendar reminder goes up, an email notification pops in, you're actually making yourself vulnerable to the situation because your participants on the other end can actually see all that is going on. There are tools out there that will actually blue out that screen, if you will, or block out that portion, but it's still an interruption. It would be like if I walked into your office for a meeting and started putting together all my papers. So we provide different tools that actually don't rely on screen share. They're live web-based meetings, so any notifications that pop up are actually remain secret.
Oh, so and also probably gets rid of that distraction from both ends, I would imagine.
Yes, exactly.
Tell me about hybrid meetings.
So a hybrid meeting is there's a lot of buzz right now around what is called WebRTC audio integration. That's web real-time communication. And what that does is it allows your participants to join a meeting in a multitude of different ways. You could dial in off a toll-free telephone number, off of a toll number. You could join in via web using your headset or microphone. So it really gives you flexibility with how you decide to host your meeting and allows people to be on the road to still be able to attend, or those that are in front of the computer to be able to attend as well.
Fascinating. Oh my gosh, how things have changed. Tell me about network security, BYOD.
BYOD is a big thing. Okay. BYOD is bring your own device. Think of your coffee shops, without name dropping, there's quite a few that do provide Wi-Fi. You're starting to run into a lot of retail locations that do that to attract people in. We'll provide free Wi-Fi. And what that does is that opens you up to network vulnerabilities. Especially with some of the younger generations, as savvy as they are with their computers and mobile devices, you could have somebody that's very easily sitting in your device, or sitting in your facility and is using their device to access your network. They could be doing anything malicious, or even if the intent isn't malicious, they could sit there and download Netflix movies while they're sitting there and put a strain on your bandwidth. So using network security with something like a Meraki device allows you to manage your network and who is able to utilize what.
Fascinating. POTS are going away. So obviously I'm a neophyte with some of this. What is POTS?
POTS is your plain old telephone system. So if you think about your baby bells, without aging myself either, I remember the US West, the AT&Ts when they were true local telephone companies. With everything moving over towards broadband, these companies no longer really have an interest in wanting to support that service. So they're going to pass that on to what are called CLECs, or competitive local exchange carriers. And so this is changing the dynamics of where people are going to get their service from, which is why you're seeing a huge push for VoIP, hosted VoIP, because then they can run everything over fiber.
Fascinating. So tell me, if someone's coming to you and maybe asking questions, what's the most common myth that people have about conferencing and kind of how things have changed and evolved? What's a common myth?
I think the biggest common myth out there right now is still cost, that it's too expensive. But when you take into consideration the amount of time that it takes to travel to and from a location, how much you have to reimburse your employee to do that, it actually becomes more expensive than if you were to have somebody just join you on the telephone or on the web. So I would say cost overall is the biggest misconception.
Fascinating. Well, GAN Conferencing is rocking it, amazing, and educational. I learned a lot today. So thank you, Myron, so much. And we'll be right back.
Thank you.